Peppa and George lay on the grass, watching fluffy white clouds drift across the sky.
Hola.
One beautiful morning, the sun was soft and the breeze was cool. In the living room, the two sisters were chatting happily. "Let's go outside and play," they said together. They ran quickly into the pine forest near their home. Tall green trees swayed gently in the wind, making a soft rustling sound. Suddenly, a magical gust of wind swept past them. Whoosh! The wind gently lifted the two sisters up into the sky. They flew over the green pine forest and then glided past their own house below. Laughing joyfully, they stretched out their arms and happily enjoyed the cool, refreshing breeze around them. It was a truly magical and joyful flight. The magical ladder. But this was no ordinary ladder. It began to shake and slowly lift off the ground. Peppa climbed up quickly, while George held on tight. Together, they rose higher and higher. The ladder floated past the apple tree, gently knocking apples down into the grass. Finally, the ladder landed back on the ground. Peppa and George tumbled off, laughing all the way. The magic portal. Today, Peppa and George have found something very strange in the garden. A magic portal. Huh? Peppa has arrived at a sunny beach with waves and sand. How wonderful! George has landed in a field full of colorful flowers. They're taller than George himself. Each of them has gone somewhere completely different. It's like a trip around the world in just a flash. But there's no place better than home. After all, the best adventure is being together as a family. Peppa and the colorful balloons. Peppa walks into the garden and sees a bunch of colorful balloons. Peppa opens her eyes wide and runs closer. George runs after her, looking curiously at the balloons. Peppa gently touches the balloons. George points at the blue balloon and smiles. Peppa gives one balloon to George. George hugs the balloon and runs around. Peppa throws a balloon into the air. Peppa and George look up, surprised. Daddy Pig comes out and sees the balloons floating high. Daddy Pig holds the balloon strings tightly. Peppa and George jump up happily. Peppa and George play together with a bunch of colorful balloons. The whole family laughs happily. Peppa and the Little Picnic. Peppa holds a small basket and looks around the grass. Peppa spreads the picnic blanket on the ground. George runs over, carrying a toy food box. Peppa smiles happily. Peppa sits down and puts the food on the blanket. Peppa pretends to eat and nods happily. George copies her and pretends to eat too. They both laugh together. Peppa lies on her back and looks up at the sky. George lies down next to Peppa. They watch the clouds slowly drifting by. Peppa and George smile and relax. Peppa Pig and the shape-shifting cloud. Peppa and George sit on the grass in the garden. High above, white clouds drift slowly across the blue sky. George points up at the sky, excited. Peppa squints as she watches a big cloud drifting by. Daddy Pig sits nearby, holding a cup of water, and looks up at the two children. Mummy Pig sits beside them, smiling gently. The cloud slowly turns into the shape of a chubby little pig. Peppa jumps up excitedly and points at the sky. A moment later, the cloud stretches out and turns into the shape of a dinosaur. George's eyes light up, and he jumps up happily. The cloud slowly breaks apart into many small pieces and drifts away. Peppa and George laugh happily. Today, Peppa's family is in the living room. Daddy Pig and Mummy Pig are having a cheerful chat when Peppa and George come over to join in. Suddenly, Mummy Pig has a wonderful idea. It's such a lovely day. Why don't we go to the beach? The whole family quickly agrees and starts getting swimsuits. And so, a fun-filled trip to the beach has officially begun. The family is on their way to the beach. After a cheerful car ride, the Pig family finally arrives at the beach. They decide to split up. Peppa and George rush off to build their very own sandcastle, while Daddy Pig and Mummy Pig go for a little walk together and take some lovely photos. The giant shoe. Peppa and George were stunned when they saw a giant shoe appear in the garden. Peppa immediately turned it into a playground, while George was still wondering, whose shoe could this be? For Peppa, the shoe became the perfect slide. For George, it was more like a treasure chest. Soon, the giant shoe rolled around like a ride, filling the garden with laughter. Peppa and George dash across the garden, giggling and chasing after the giant shoe as if it were the most magical toy in the world. But the biggest surprise came when Daddy Pig showed up, holding another giant shoe. In the end, the family realized that joy needs no reason, just a pair of oversized shoes and endless imagination. Peppa and the Fun Running Race. On a beautiful sunny day, the village held an exciting running race. Daddy Pig and Mummy Pig were happily chatting in the garden when Sister Peppa and Brother Peppa ran by. Daddy Pig and Mummy Pig smiled and decided to go along to cheer for them. Officer Peppa raised the flag and signaled the start. All the little friends dashed forward at full speed. Sister Peppa tried her very best and finally crossed the finish line first. Everyone clapped and cheered loudly, filling the place with joy and laughter.
Whoa!
Peppa and George are playing with a balloon in the park. A strong gust of wind blows the balloon up into the sky. Peppa looks up at the balloon, startled. George points at the sky, following the balloon with his eyes. Peppa and Daddy Pig start running after the balloon, trying to keep up as it flies higher. Peppa and Daddy Pig run across the grassy field, their legs moving quickly. George runs behind, watching the balloon and smiling. Peppa and Daddy Pig spot the balloon caught in a tree branch. Peppa points at the tree, excited to see the balloon. Daddy Pig uses a long stick to try and reach the balloon from the tree. Peppa hops around happily. Peppa and Daddy Pig are happy to have rescued the balloon. Peppa holds the balloon in her hands, smiling. George jumps up joyfully. The pig family sits down together and continues to play in the park. The pig family arrives at a farm to try being farmers for the day. We're going to be farmers and take care of the plants, Peppa says. Everyone gets ready to start working on the farm. Peppa and George start watering the plants. I'm going to water the plants so they can grow big and strong, Peppa says. George helps his sister by watering around the garden. Peppa and George begin to pick ripe tomatoes from the garden. Look, our tomatoes are ready, Peppa says. The pig family continues to pick vegetables and put them in their baskets. After a hard day's work on the farm, the pig family sits down to enjoy the vegetables they just picked. We can eat what we've grown with our own hands, Daddy Pig says. Everyone enjoys a meal and feels proud of their hard work. After a hard day's work, the pig family sits down to rest. Being a farmer is fun, but I like playing more, Peppa says. Daddy Pig laughs and says, Helping on the farm is good, but playing is fun too. The whole family laughs and feels proud of their work. Peppa Pig in the flower basket. The garden in front of Peppa's house with gentle sunshine. A small basket is placed on the grass. Peppa bends down to look at the basket and smiles. George stands beside her, curiously looking into the basket. Peppa gently picks a flower nearby. Peppa places the flower into the basket. George points to another flower. Peppa and George pick a few more small flowers. The flower basket slowly fills up. Peppa sits down and admires the flower basket. George giggles. Mommy Pig stands nearby, and all three are happy together. Peppa Pig and the ball rolling in the wind. The ball lies still on the grass. A gentle breeze blows. The ball slowly rolls away, even though no one touches it. Peppa widens her eyes and tilts her head as she watches. Peppa walks after the ball. Without running fast, the ball rolls slowly, changing direction with the wind. George runs over and points at the ball. Just in time, Peppa catches up too. Peppa gently places her foot on the ball. Peppa gently kicks the ball over to George. George gently kicks the ball back to Peppa. Peppa kicks the ball too hard, and it flies up. Peppa and George run after the ball. Peppa hugs the ball in her arms. Peppa turns to George and smiles happily. It was a beautiful sunny morning, and Peppa and George were playing in the backyard. Suddenly, George pointed up at the sky, where the stars sparkled brightly. Peppa smiled and nodded in agreement. The two quickly got ready. They put on their helmets and stepped into the shiny spaceship. The rocket blasted off, soaring through the fluffy white clouds and into the vast universe. They floated around joyfully among the stars. Peppa stopped on a bright orange planet, while George lay back on a soft pink planet, smiling as he gazed at the endless galaxy. Peppa Pig and the Little Round Ball. In front of Peppa's house, with gentle sunshine, a small round ball slowly rolls into the yard. Peppa stands and looks, tilting her head curiously. George sits behind, watching the ball. Peppa bends down and gently pushes the ball with her hand. The ball rolls toward George. George happily stands up. George kicks the ball a little too hard, and the ball rolls faster. The ball rolls past Peppa, and Peppa runs after it. From a distance, Daddy Pig watches. Peppa stops the ball. Peppa gently kicks the ball toward George. George catches the ball and laughs loudly. Daddy Pig appears, and the whole family laughs happily. One morning, George wakes up and looks around his room. Toys are scattered all over the floor. Books lie in a messy pile on the desk, and the blanket and pillows are all over the bed. George he hands on, he hips, sighs, but decides he will turn a messy room into a tidy, cozy place. George starts picking up each toy, sorting them by shape and color, then placing them into different boxes. One for cars, one for stuffed animals, and one for building blocks. Each time George closes a lid, George stacks the boxes neatly against the wall. George folds his blanket carefully, smoothing out each corner. While folding, a big teddy bear hidden inside the blanket falls to the floor. George giggles, hugs the bear for a moment, then places it neatly at the head of the bed, right next to her favorite pillow. After dusting the desk and arranging the books in order, George steps back to look at the whole room. Everything is clean and tidy, the floor is clear and shiny. George lies down on the bed, opens a picture book, and enjoys the cozy feeling of George's freshly cleaned room. Peppa and George are playing with a balloon in the park. A strong gust of wind blows the balloon up into the sky. Peppa looks up at the balloon, startled. George points at the sky, following the balloon with his eyes. Peppa and Daddy Pig start running after the balloon, trying to keep up as it flies higher. Peppa and Daddy Pig run across the grassy field, their legs moving quickly. George runs behind, watching the balloon and smiling. Peppa and Daddy Pig spot the balloon caught in a tree branch. Peppa points at the tree, excited to see the balloon. Daddy Pig uses a long stick to try and reach the balloon from the tree. Peppa hops around happily. Peppa and Daddy Pig are happy to have rescued the balloon. Peppa holds the balloon in her hands, smiling. George jumps up joyfully. The pig family sits down together and continues to play in the park. The pig family arrives at a farm to try being farmers for the day. We're going to be farmers and take care of the plants, Peppa says. Everyone gets ready to start working on the farm. Peppa and George start watering the plants. I'm going to water the plants so they can grow big and strong, Peppa says. George helps his sister by watering around the garden. Peppa and George begin to pick ripe tomatoes from the garden. Look, our tomatoes are ready, Peppa says. The pig family continues to pick vegetables and put them in their baskets. After a hard day's work on the farm, the pig family sits down to enjoy the vegetables they just picked. We can eat what we've grown with our own hands, Daddy Pig says. Everyone enjoys a meal and feels proud of their hard work. After a hard day's work, the pig family sits down to rest. Being a farmer is fun, but I like playing more, Peppa says. Daddy Pig laughs and says, helping on the farm is good, but playing is fun too. The whole family laughs and feels proud of their work. Teddy Bear Rescue. George tossed Teddy up to play, but oh no! Teddy didn't come back down. Instead, he got stuck high up on a tree branch. Peppa jumped as high as she could. George stretched his arms as far as he could, but Teddy stayed firmly on the branch. Just as the two were about to give up, a sudden gust of wind blew in. Teddy fell from the branch and landed neatly in George's arms. George hugged Teddy as if reuniting with a long-lost friend, while Peppa giggled under the tree. And so, the Teddy rescue mission ended, not thanks to any plan, but thanks to the wind itself. It was a bright, breezy morning in Peppa's backyard. As Peppa wandered around, she spotted a colorful umbrella lying forgotten in the corner of the garden. Peppa curiously picked it up, wondering what fun she could have with it. Suddenly, a big gust of wind blew. The umbrella opened wide, lifting Peppa off the ground. She squealed in surprise. Up in the sky, Peppa floated and twirled like a pink bird with a rainbow wing. The wind carried her over the yard, spinning in circles, dipping and soaring. Down below, Mummy Pig, Daddy Pig, and George gasped, then burst into laughter as they watched Peppa's unexpected flight show. The wind slowed down, and Peppa landed gently on the soft grass. Her family rushed over as Peppa waved with a big smile. A colorful rainy day. It is raining outside. Peppa and George cannot play in the garden. Peppa goes into the house. Daddy Pig is watching TV. Oh, Daddy Pig has an idea. He brings out a box of crayons. Peppa wants to draw, and George chooses yellow for Peppa. And Peppa draws her favorite yellow dinosaur. Hey! 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 Peppa and George lay on the grass, watching fluffy white clouds drift across the sky. Super fun swimming day. Today is a perfect day for swimming. Peppa and her family are all so excited. Oh, there are so many fun pool toys. A float shaped like a watermelon, another like a big donut. How silly and fun! Ha ha! George's ball decided to go swimming all by itself. What a memorable swim! Everyone is soaking wet, but they're all laughing happily. And that's how Peppa Pig's swimming day ends, with splashes, giggles, and lots of fun. The Dinosaur Tunnel. Today is a beautiful day.
Huh?
Peppa and George discover a mysterious little door underground. Where could it lead? Without hesitation, they step inside. The glowing tunnel spins around them, leading to a whole new world. And what a surprise! Beyond the tunnel is a legendary dinosaur world, full of life, color, and excitement. Peppa and George join the fun. They ride dinosaurs, soar over rainbows, and laugh all the way through their adventure. As the sun begins to set, the tunnel disappears. But the secret of the dinosaur tunnel will always be their magical memory. The naughty kite. Today is a very windy day. Peppa and George want to fly their brand new kite. Peppa runs as fast as she can, and the kite begins to fly into the sky. George waves with excitement as the kite goes higher and higher. Oh dear, the kite is caught in a big tree branch. Peppa and George look a little worried, but they still hope for a way to save it. Luckily, Daddy Pig comes to help. Now the kite is flying high in the sky again, and Peppa and George laugh out loud with joy. Peppa joins the singing contest. Today is a wonderful day. And Peppa is very excited because her school is holding a special singing contest. Peppa and her friends are getting ready for their performances. Everyone has their own singing style, making the atmosphere lively and fun. When it is Peppa's turn, she steps onto the stage with a big smile. The bright lights shine down, and Peppa begins to sing confidently. Peppa's song makes everyone laugh with joy. Loud applause fills the room, creating an exciting and cheerful moment. The contest ends with happiness and laughter. Peppa feels proud not only because she sang well, but also because she shared such a memorable day with her friends.
Aha! Whoa!
Huh? Peppa suddenly discovered a strange rock in the yard, while George looked at it nervously. When Peppa touched it, the rock began to tremble, as if there was magic inside. Soon, the rock grew as big as a ball and started rolling. Peppa and George ran after it. Peppa happily rode on top of the rolling rock, while George struggled to catch up. But as it rolled down a slope, Peppa tumbled into the grass, and the rock rolled away, leaving both Peppa and George sad. Suddenly, the rock returned, shrinking back beside them, and joy filled the air once again. Go to a restaurant.
Yahoo!
Today is a very fun day. Peppa, George, and Daddy Pig are going out. At the cinema, Gerald Giraffe has just finished watching a film and meets Peppa's family.
Hi!
George is starting to feel hungry. Gerald Giraffe has an idea. They will all go to the restaurant. Christmas is here! Christmas is here! Peppa wakes up to see the whole world covered in sparkling white snow. Peppa and George rush to the living room. The Christmas tree is glowing brighter than ever. Peppa twirls with joy, while George admires the shiny ornaments. Christmas feels magical! The family gets everything ready. Stockings are hung neatly, and a golden star is placed on the very top. Peppa gasps as a bright light streaks across the sky. Christmas is full of surprises and magic. Peppa Pig in the flower basket. The garden in front of Peppa's house, with gentle sunshine. A small basket is placed on the grass. Peppa bends down to look at the basket and smiles. George stands beside her, curiously looking into the basket. Peppa gently picks a flower nearby. Peppa places the flower into the basket. George points to another flower. Peppa and George pick a few more small flowers. The flower basket slowly fills up. Peppa sits down and admires the flower basket. George giggles. Mommy Pig stands nearby, and all three are happy together. Hey! Aha!
Yahoo! Wow!
Peppa Pig and the shape-shifting cloud. Peppa and George sit on the grass in the garden. High above, white clouds drift slowly across the blue sky. George points up at the sky, excited. Peppa squints as she watches a big cloud drifting by. Daddy Pig sits nearby, holding a cup of water, and looks up at the two children. Mommy Pig sits beside them, smiling gently. The cloud slowly turns into the shape of a chubby little pig. Peppa jumps up excitedly and points at the sky. A moment later, the cloud stretches out and turns into the shape of a dinosaur. George's eyes light up, and he jumps up happily. The cloud slowly breaks apart into many small pieces and drifts away. Peppa and George laugh happily. One clear morning, you and I were still fast asleep. Suddenly, a friend showed up and knocked on the door. Our close friend smiled and said, "Let's go for a walk, you two." Suddenly, a mysterious object began to leak. It turned the white rabbit pink. Luckily, the strange object managed to retrieve the leaking item just in time. Peppa Pig and the ripe apple tree. Peppa spots the apple tree, heavy with ripe red apples. She bounces up and down, reaching as high as she can. But the apples sway teasingly above her, just out of reach. George grabs the tree trunk and shakes it with all his strength. A few apples tumble down with a satisfying thud, but instead of landing in their hands, the apples roll, roll, roll far away. Peppa and George scramble after them, completely out of breath. Exhausted, the two sit under the tree, ready to give up. Suddenly, a gust of wind shakes the branches. One shiny apple drops straight down, rolling right to Peppa's feet. George picks it up proudly, holding it like treasure. Peppa giggles. The two share the apple, munching happily under the tree. A hot, sunny afternoon. My sister and I were talking and decided to go to the pool to beat the heat. And off they went, all excited, heading to the swimming pool. They arrived and saw their friend happily splashing in the water. The little sister jumped into the pool, splashing around happily, while the big sister relaxed and sunbathed on a colorful chair. One warm afternoon, the Peppa Pig family was happily playing together in the garden. Suddenly, George jumped up with an exciting idea. Let's play musical instruments. The whole family stepped onto a little stage. First, Peppa and George walked out, followed by Mummy Pig and Daddy Pig. Let's introduce each instrument. Maracas, tambourine, electric guitar, saxophone. Joyful music filled the air as everyone smiled brightly and played with all their heart.
Ah.
2 hours later.
Peppa Pig and Tidy Up Day. Peppa and George's room. Toys are scattered all over the floor. Teddy bears, balls, and building blocks. Peppa looks around the room, a little surprised. George sits among the toys, happily playing. Mummy Pig walks in smiling. Mummy Pig hands a toy box to Peppa. Peppa picks up a teddy bear and puts it into the box. George picks up a ball, but it rolls away. Daddy Pig comes in from outside. Daddy Pig picks up the ball and hands it back to George. George smiles happily.
Ah.
Yoo-hoo! Hey!
The weather's so beautiful today.
Let's play hide and seek together.
Yahoo!
One, two, three.
Uh-oh. Huh?
7, 8, 9, 10.
Oh. Aw. Wow. Huh? Huh?
Adventure in the Little Forest. Peppa and George are excited to step into the small forest where trees and rustling leaves await. They don't know what surprises are ahead. Oh, wow! The leaves in the forest seem to dance, falling on Peppa and George's heads like funny hats. Look! A big tree looks like it's laughing! Its branches shake, making Peppa and George jump back, then laugh at the silly sight. They have to cross a small pond, but leaves cover the water like a wobbly bridge. Peppa and George jump around, splashing water everywhere. Finally, Peppa and George sit under a tree, laughing as they look around. They had a funny and joyful adventure in the small forest. Peppa and the colorful balloons. Peppa walks into the garden and sees a bunch of colorful balloons. Peppa opens her eyes wide and runs closer. George runs after her, looking curiously at the balloons. Peppa gently touches the balloons. George points at the blue balloon and smiles. Peppa gives one balloon to George. George hugs the balloon and runs around. Peppa throws a balloon into the air. Peppa and George look up, surprised. Daddy Pig comes out and sees the balloons floating high. Daddy Pig holds the balloon strings tightly. Peppa and George jump up happily. Peppa and George play together with a bunch of colorful balloons. The whole family laughs happily. Picnic day. Today, Peppa and George are very excited because the family is going on a picnic. Mommy Pig and Daddy Pig are ready too. The whole family gets in the car. Peppa loves going out, and so does George. Daddy Pig spreads the blanket, and Mummy Pig puts down the picnic basket. Peppa chases a pretty butterfly, and George runs after his sister. Peppa tries to catch the butterfly. The Mud Castle.
Hey! Hey!
Today, the garden is wet and full of soft, squishy mud. Peppa has a wonderful idea to build a mud castle. Piece by piece, the mud pile grows taller and taller. Oh dear, mud is very slippery, and castles are not so strong. Even though the mud castle falls, the fun is still standing tall. Peppa Pig and Daddy Pig's hat. Daddy Pig sits on a chair in the garden, wearing his familiar hat and holding a glass of water. Peppa and George are playing with a ball nearby. Daddy Pig stands up to water the plants and accidentally leaves his hat on the chair. A gentle breeze blows by, and the hat gently wobbles. Peppa sees the hat and walks over curiously. Peppa tries on the hat. It's too big and covers her eyes. George giggles. A stronger gust of wind blows through. The hat flies off Peppa's head. Peppa and George run after the hat. The hat lands right in front of Daddy Pig. Daddy Pig bends down, picks up the hat, and puts it back on his head. Peppa and George run over, see Daddy Pig wearing his hat, and laugh loudly. super hot day. Today, the weather is so hot that Daddy Pig and Mummy Pig feel the heat as soon as they step outside. Peppa and George run straight to the backyard. Peppa, who loves mud, jumps right into a puddle. But the mud was so dry, it cracked. Peppa and George are ready in their swimsuits. Daddy Pig is ready too. Mummy Pig is ready as well. George and Daddy Pig bring out an inflatable pool, while Peppa carries the hose to fill it with water. Before long, the pool is full. The pig family splashes and laughs together, turning a hot day into fun.